Welcome, and this is the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, your number one source of information, education, and entertainment. For honest, responsible, and dependable information, we stand supreme. To stay focused, inspired, and relaxed, choose green.
Ekabo, and welcome to the Herbal Health Traditional Show. And introducing your host for today's show, Coach Ianti. All right, I'm going to just read the Odu for today, and then we would continue the show. The Odu today I'm going to read is from Iwe Fun Odu Ifa. It is Odi Ofun. Ididi holds them down in the house. Ofun blocks them in the forest. Who will save them? It is only Orunmila who will deliver them. It is only Orunmila. This was divined for the people of Ife Oye on the day they were surrounded or besieged. They were advised to make Ebo. All right, I share, and that is today's Odu. Okay, our host, Coach Ianti, would introduce today's topic. How are you today, Iya?
I am fine, thank you. Smiling as usual. And I'm happy to be back on the traditional Herbal Health Show. It's been a while. Unfortunately, we were not able to meet last week, but I'm happy to be there again, as usual, I guess, on the Green Network. So I'd like to remind our guests that we meet weekly on Sundays at 5 p.m. And we meet to discuss Indigenous healing and the heritage that we have received across the Caribbean region from our various ancestors. So there'll be an emphasis definitely on speaking about our Afro-Caribbean traditions, but also based on my working experience, often enough, we will also refer to Ayurveda that come from the Indo-Creole traditions. So I am a traditherapist and a doctor of naturopathy, and I am streaming on the friendly island, from the friendly island of St. Martin. You know that me and my French and English when I'm ready, but by now I think we are accustomed.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I think you have you speak pretty good English, for it not being your mother tongue, though.
Thank you. All right, so this season we are discussing mind, heart, body connection, and especially to understand how our emotion affect our organs as well as our physical state of health. Because often we would think that if we eat well, we sleep enough, we exercise more or less, or maybe if we're not overweight, but out of the blue, maybe we are experiencing a lot of stress, a lot of grief, and out of the blue, everything keep going wrong, and we seem to lose the grasp of our health, and we feel unable to bring things back to balance. So this is why we have been discussing the cardiovascular system, so that we could understand, really what's going on in terms of the circulation and the importance of having, good blood circulation to have good heart health. So I would like to highlight the cardiovascular system is more or less 60,000 miles of blood vessels circulating through the body. So that's immense. And this circulation is responsible to carry the blood back and forth between the heart and the rest of the body, all the organs. And so the blood circulation is essential to provide our bodies with oxygen and to remove the carbon dioxide and the waste from our cells. So what happens if there is weakness and congestion? So we have to understand that if there is congestion, and unfortunately, Usually we do experience different type of congestion based on the food that we eat, but also the lifestyle. All right. So we are going to watch a short video, a few minutes long, so we could understand and have a visual of what's happening in the body when we experience congestion. So Baba, up to you.
Okay, yeah. But go ahead and talk just for a little while before the
So,
video. All right, let me just get the link and organize.
sure. So whenever there is weakness, meaning that your body is not able to pump the blood properly between your heart and the rest of your organs, or if there are congestion in your arteries, what happens is that your tissues or the organs are deeply affected. So the lack of blood and oxygen can cause major damage to your tissues, and it's going to cause the heart to work harder. Now, if you are experiencing grief, if you are experiencing high stress or depression, any of those emotion, what happened is that it's going to make your body work a whole lot harder than the usual to get maybe less done. So this is when you realize that maybe you used to be able to wake up every day for 4 a.m. But out of the blue, just doing the same thing, you no longer can make it. Or if you do wake up for 4 a.m., you find yourself totally not efficient. You are not able to keep the pace, or maybe you feel tired by 9 o'clock, and that to be able to manage your regular pace, you have to take a booster. And very often a lot of us, I'm saying us because it will happen to the best of us, we fall into this pattern of having to depend on whether herbal boosters or synthetic boosters to be able to keep up with the pace. And when I mean the pace could be as much as our responsibilities on the job, whether we are leaders or whether we actually take orders, we carry out the orders, or whether it is our responsibilities at home. It's not easy when people depend on us, because it comes with a lot of expectation, and the more responsibilities we have, the more stressful everything can become, especially when we're having challenges to meet the demand. Okay, so we have to understand that all of this, even if we take it with a smile, etc., if we do not process those emotions properly out of our body, it is going to affect the overall functioning of the body within.
Okay, yeah. I think we're ready then.
Sure, let's go.
Welcome, everyone. Dr. Mandel here. Stress, poor diet, excessive sugars, refined
Let me have
foods,
a large screen.
diabetes, high blood pressure are just a few of the things that lead to arterial plaquing. The arteries that supply the heart, as well as the arteries within your body, become plaqued not just from cholesterol. They start to plaque when there's inflammation going on within the artery. The white blood cells comes in, starts doing their job. It becomes a toxic mess. So the bad cholesterol that's floating throughout your system starts to plaque down because of that inflammation. So this silent plaquing continues to grow over time because of your poor living lifestyle. This high sugar, high alcohol, smoking tobacco, lots of stress. This inflammation continues to attract more of this bad cholesterol. Now, when this plaquing continues to obstruct that blood flow, because now the blood flow can't come through as easy as it did prior, this is where the serious problems start to occur. Changing your lifestyle today is most important. Blockage of oxygen to the heart is fatal. A coronary, massive heart attack. That blood supply being blocked to the brain is called a stroke. Blockage of blood supply going to the lung is a pulmonary embolism. They're all fatal. So having a glass of these ingredients every morning can make a huge difference to help cleanse your arteries. Apple cider vinegar has so many amazing health benefits for the body. It will help lower triglycerides and the bad cholesterol. It will lower your blood sugar level and prevent that excessive plaquing. Turmeric is one of the most powerful spices in the world. It's a miracle spice. Turmeric supports a healthy cardiovascular system and prevents the blockage of arteries. It has major anti-inflammatory properties. Cayenne pepper is one of the strongest natural remedies used for improving lipid levels. It reduces bad cholesterol and triglycerides and prevents the oxidation of the LDL cholesterol and removing plaque from the arteries. Raw honey is a miracle superfood. It contains powerful antioxidants, along with antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral properties. Lemon has amazing healing benefits. Its rich source of vitamin C helps boost up the immune system. It also helps flush out those toxins throughout the body. Research has shown that this reduces the risk of heart disease and stroke. So I'd like you to fill up a glass of water, 8 to 10 ounces. You're going to add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You'll use 1 to 2 teaspoons of turmeric. I recommend you start out with 1 teaspoon and see how your body reacts. A common rule of thumb is that there is 200 milligrams of curcumin in 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric. In order to assimilate and digest that turmeric, you must add a pinch, just a little bit, a pinch of black pepper. That black pepper contains piperine. That has been shown to increase the bioavailability of curcumin, which is the key anti-inflammatory compound in turmeric. Add 1 tablespoon of honey. If you choose not to use any sugar, then use stevia as a substitute. Add 1 teaspoon of powdered cayenne pepper. And the last thing is to squeeze the juice of a half a lemon. Now, one very important message you must understand that if you are taking blood thinner medication, similar effects happen with turmeric and cayenne pepper. So I recommend that you speak to your doctor before you do anything. Try to stir it the best you can because the cayenne pepper may be the hardest thing to dissolve in the water. But by warming it, it will dissolve a lot easier. I don't think you'll have any issue because once you stir it up, that's when you want to drink it. The dosages with these healing ingredients can be different in all of us. Start with the minimum, and as your body tells you that you can digest it properly with no side effects, then you can start increasing the dosage. I am excited for you. Drink this every day, and I expect you to see miracles. I ask you to share this on your social media so we can help others worldwide. Leave your comments below because I expect to see many. And most important, make it a great day. I'm Dr. Alan Mandel.
Okay, yeah. Interesting video, I must say.
My mic was out, sorry. I do like this doctor. He's available on YouTube. He always have a lot of great motivational videos to encourage people to change their lifestyle. So I especially like, the blend that he has suggested at the end of the video, which was turmeric as well as black pepper and cayenne as, the big remedy to be able to thin the blood, and to give the body this kind of the kind of boost that we need in the morning. So in Ayurveda, there is actually this blend is suggested from Ayurveda. So in Ayurveda, we call this blend Trikatu. Trikatu, you would go to any Indian healing store or maybe even the Indian supermarket, they may have different Trikatu blend available. So Trikatu is a great metabolism booster. So even if, for example, you may just have a cold and you may get a Trikatu blend, because it activates the metabolism of the body, it bring in your fire within. It is very efficient for people who suffer from clogged sinuses, congestion, we would say, and any other type of inflammation. And it is great for people who are having, for example, an issue losing weight because maybe the body is too weak to start processing all the stored fat. Maybe the arteries are too clogged. This is really like one of my favorite. We actually prepare it also with my team. We use Tricato as a foundation, but we have added ingredient, and it is sold under the name of Fire Pop. So it is not the in Ayurveda we don't use a regular black pepper that you would find in the supermarket, the little black pepper seeds. We use a different type of pepper that we call long pepper. There is a name in the Yoruba tradition for this pepper, which I can't remember. I wish Baba Fayemi was there so he could give me exactly the right name, but technically it's long pepper. Okay, and the Indians call it pipali. Okay, but whether the Indians or whether the African, we both use, pipali, the long pepper, and this one is the best to absorb the curcumin from the turmeric. So technically, if you just drink turmeric alone, you're not really absorbing, or what you need to absorb from the body to be able to work your inflammation. So it is usually turmeric and the black or long pepper, but I do recommend long pepper instead. Okay, so it's not necessarily so easy to drink cayenne pepper. Have you ever tried to drink cayenne pepper? Have a shot of cayenne pepper?
Well, I've had cayenne pepper before, but it's a very heated ingredient to absorb on its own.
So one tip definitely is to drink it with hot water, because if you try to have cayenne pepper in a liquid form and it's not hot, you're gonna feel it burning every part of your body going down. However, if you're drinking with something hot, it's going on with the heat, so it's a whole lot easier to absorb. But this is definitely one blend that I encourage people to use as capsules and drink it with like a warm drink in the morning. And it is really giving your body the right boost to cleanse your arteries, to flush out your toxins, and to reduce the risk of cardiovascular accident. But the best, my favorite my favorite reason for taking it is that you don't need to take any type of synthetic boosters. You get a lot of energy just by drinking this. So if you are somebody who like to exercise, just one little capsule is going to do a lot of miracles for you, and you have a lot of energy to keep going.
Okay.
So what the doctor is explaining there is that the lack of blood and oxygen can cause major damage. So everything, whenever he spoke about obstruction of blood flow, we heard about a fatal condition at the end. So therefore, we realize that it's not just about taking herbs, what's good for the heart, because this is the way we think about it in the Caribbean is, okay, well, this is good for the heart, let me just take it. But you have to understand that if your arteries are already clogged, if your blood is not flowing properly, then even if you take herbs, the herbs are not able to be processed in your body to get the healing that you need. So let's talk a few minutes about high blood pressure. High blood pressure, that's our body's response to the environment and the structural stress that we navigate through daily. So did you know that our body reflects the constant accumulation of stresses and the impact within our systems as they become integrated in our life? So we have, the tradition sometimes of tell ourselves, okay, well, don't complain. Be careful what you say, because, the word of power. So sometimes we may experience a lot of negativity, but we don't want to speak it. We just try to keep it within. This is terrible. You have to really allow the emotion to come out of the body. And if really you don't want to speak to somebody because maybe you have an issue trusting someone, maybe you should consider exercising, swimming, dancing, but you have to let the energy, the emotion come out of your body, because it is negative and it is destroying your body within. Technically, it is like swimming against the current. I mean, we have no river in St. Martin. But when the river is flowing pretty heavy and you're trying to swim against the current, so you're swimming upstream, everything, it's like it just does not work out so easily.
Okay.
Okay. So to explain this a little better, I'm going to read you like a little excerpt about the Ayurvedic anatomy of the blood. So
Okay.
in Western medicine, blood and plasma are treated as one, but in Ayurveda, the blood that is called rakta is considered to be a separate tissue from the plasma that we call rasa. So, however, the two are still linked and work together side by side. So, rakta consists of the red blood cells. It warms and energizes every part of the body with prana or life force. Sometimes we say ashe, as it carries oxygen throughout the whole body. Just as a fire needs oxygen to burn, your metabolism is a chemical fire that requires oxygen to burn as well. So people who are anemic tend to feel cold because their body cannot transport enough oxygen to the tissue, so their fire is low.
Okay.
So this blend that we spoke about is extremely good for people who suffer from anemia as well, because I had that problem for many years until 2018, where I used to always feel weak. I'm very happy that by 2018 this was over with. So the plasma, the blood plasma, so rasa carries the food and the nutrients to the cells after the digestion is finished. But since rasa is full of nutrients, it is also known as the essence or the juice to the organism. So it acts as a protector. It contains the white blood cells, the antibodies, and it plays many roles, including removal of the waste from the body, as it transports carbon dioxide to the lungs and other waste products to the kidneys. Rasa
Wow.
is nurturing and it is mostly sweet, but it also contains amount of the five tastes as well. So Rakta on the other hand is hot, sharp, sour, and penetrating. So since Rakta is hot and it is penetrating, it becomes imbalanced when the diet contains too much of the same qualities. So if you eat too much of hot and spicy food, Rakta, so your blood already being hot by nature, it's going to take the it's going to throw your balance out of alignment.
Okay.
So let me see how far I am. The blood plasma, however, Rasa, it becomes deficient if you are dehydrated or if you are not taking enough liquids. As a result, then you may end up experiencing vomiting or diarrhea. So in Ayurveda, technically, it's like we always try to keep a balance. So we don't just treat one symptom. We always link the symptom to the source of the imbalance and we work at the source directly. And that's also what is done in African tradition. So another main source of blood imbalance is the digestive toxins known as AMA. So these toxins accumulate in the gastrointestinal tract and they can build up to such level that they eventually spill out of the bloodstream and they circulate throughout the entire body. We call them then free radicals. So AMA can cause a lot of disorders, including a variety of blood imbalances. So how all this is going to affect the emotion? So in Ayurveda, we identify the emotions in the blood. So if your blood is too cold, the person is going to be passionless. They don't feel
Wow.
like, passionless. They're not really friendly. They're antisocial. This is not the best person to start a relationship with, honestly. And
Okay.
if the blood has toxin in it, then the emotion will be easily triggered out of proportion and out of circumstances. So now let's bring it back to our reality. So when I became a student into this tradition and this culture, very often I would be lectured, about my decision, for example, to refuse relationship. But I would explain for somebody like me, when you see someone who is out of balance because of the way they eat, even if they preach the best intention, for example, that what they're eating is going to trigger the chemistry in such a bad way that at the end of the day, there's going to be a consequence in the way they handle people around in their environment. So when you are trying to understand how the way you eat is going to affect your emotion, affect your having one of those French and English moments is going to affect your productivity, then it is a lot easier, for example, to realize whether you can work with someone, whether you could befriend someone, or whether you could marry somebody or not. Because even those things are very important to understand compatibility.
Okay.
So a person will desire what is good for them, and the strength for the emotion will be adequate but not overbearing. So balanced blood brings balanced emotion. Balanced emotion show the meaning of event without undermining the reason. So the blood does not only affect the emotions, but the emotion actually affect the blood. So if the person feel betrayed or undergo a trigger, a strong trigger of emotion, a flood of hormones will be released and it's going to disturb the balance of rasa. And since the balance of rasa is going to be disturbed, then rakta is going to start heating up with anger or cool down with depression.
Wow.
Yeah. So what could cause blood imbalance? So no two bodies going to contain the exact same type of blood. So the diet, the lifestyle, the environment, and the emotion can all alter the state of the blood and lead to a unique type of imbalance. Each individual's blood will be different due to their constitution and digestive type. So this is particularly important. Why? Because very often we simplify by saying, okay, I have an O blood type, so I'm going to eat all what is good for O blood type. But besides having an O blood type, we have 5 different types in the body, and the constitution is not the same. So what is good for Peter O blood type is not the same as what is good for EMC with an O blood type as well. Okay, so this is something also that we have to keep into consideration. There were many studies done based on traditional medicine to make it a little more modern and to make it more accepted into what we call allopathic medicine nowadays. So sometimes it tends to be simplified too much, and we tend to push everybody into fitting into a mold. However, we are created different. So those with weak digestion and metabolism, they will have more toxins circulating in their bloodstream. And the approach to blood assessment in Ayurveda is based on the gunas. So technically, we go through different assessments so that we could see, what is in balance in the body to check your prakriti, we say. And so we would know what herbs are good for you. This is why we would have maybe like I would prepare some generic herbal blend, but if someone is highly imbalanced, even the generic herbal blend have to be customized so that the person could get better result. Or you get a generic herbal blend, but you get something specific that is recommended for you. We're going to recommend, what you should stop eating altogether in order to help your body to be in balance as fast as possible. So we spoke about the cold blood, but there's also the hot blood. So the hot blood, the first sign of hot blood is irritability. So that's one of the first signs. So you will notice that the person is going to have red face with rashes or other sign of systemic inflammation in the body. So high fever, yellow corner in the eyes. Okay, the teeth also are going to be very yellow. And this type of imbalance, you are going to notice other type of inflammation like the liver, for example, or the immune system might be weak or overwhelmed. So the cause of hot blood in excess is fiery pitta dosha. So this usually is due to improper lifestyle habit, okay, of eating food that are too sour, maybe too much of red meat, maybe people who smoke cigarette or drink too much alcohol. And so this tend to aggravate the liver and cause the blood to be hot. Okay, we speak also about sweet or thick blood. So another common imbalance is when the blood is too sweet. So signs of sweet blood, you will notice mucus congestion. In the morning, you feel tired and you feel tired throughout the day. You put on weight And the person with sweet blood may also feel stuck in life or even depressed. So in this type of imbalance, the blood is generally thick, oily, congested, and stagnant. The key word in there is stagnant, because if it is stagnant, it means that you have poor circulation, you may suffer high blood pressure, fatigue, even high cholesterol. So therefore, the thyroid, the heart, and the pancreas are typically involved, because all of those are used to regulate metabolism and blood sugar level. So sweet blood is also caused by eating kappa provoking foods such as excess sweet, oily, fried food, or to have a sedentary lifestyle. And this is like, when you work in an office, you would be sedentary for at least 8 hours every day. And by the time you
Okay.
get home, sometimes we don't realize why we're tired when we get home, because we were sitting all day. But because, we have overused one center of the body, one energy center, which is the mind, the rest of the body is still drained out because the circulation is not optimal being in that sedentary position all day. So technically what we should do is force ourselves and break the pattern and still go out and start moving. It is easier said than done. Okay, we also have what we call dry blood or thin blood. So a person with dry and thin blood tend to be underweight and they have dry skin. So they may feel cold easily. Those people usually they are fearful and anxious. The sign of poor digestion would include gas, bloating, and constipation. Okay, so usually those people they experience anemia or low blood pressure. Okay, and those people that don't eat enough food. So a person with dry blood should avoid eating vata provoking food, especially those that are diuretic. And then last but not least is the cold blood. The blood is supposed to be warm and invigorating. However, for some individual, the blood can be actually too cold. So some side of cold blood include cold extremities. So that means like, your hands would be feeling cold. Somebody shake your hand and say, oh, your hands are very cold. Or you feel cold to your legs, you feel cold to your ears behind, at your neck. So some this usually shows that there is an inability to warm up the body. You would feel like you have low energy, your skin might be pale, sometimes you might even look purplish. And usually the digestion is also weak. So when your digestion is weak like this, and for example, you decide to eat raw food, you are not doing your body any good. Even if, for example, I'm going to take like another example, everybody may be drinking green smoothie in your circle and it's working for them. If you decide to have a regular green smoothie loaded with ice, a lot of fruits, or maybe a sweetener, but you have that type of blood, you're actually destroying yourself. It's not doing you any good at all. So in a case like that, usually you may want to eat like food that warms the body. Okay. So yeah, so the different categories in blood and circulation, it's going to regulate the water, the circulation, the heart, the lymph, the blood plasma. It's going to affect the blood cells as well, your immune system, your liver,
Okay.
your gallbladder, your eyes. According to the state of your blood circulation, you're going to notice that around your eyes is going to look different. Some of us are going to develop wrinkles, or around your eyes, you may develop black circle as well.
Okay.
Some are going to experience tongue coating. Also, in traditional Chinese medicine, they look at the tongue a lot also to be able to tell you what's going on in your body. They will check the coating, the surface, the crack, and also the shape of your tongue to tell you more or less what's going on in your body. So why do I recommend ethnomedicine as the right solution to balance your blood circulation? Well, ethnomedicine is aimed at strengthening your body in addition to addressing your disorder at the root. So it takes a holistic and systemic approach instead of maybe focusing on the system of the symptom of the disorder. So for example, you would say, well, I have high blood pressure, I want something to bring down my pressure. So if you take, for example, pharmaceutical treatment, it's going to lower the blood pressure, but you're going to be subscribed to that pill maybe for the rest of your life if you do not address the root of that imbalance. So as we have discussed earlier, it could be maybe that your blood is too thick. Okay, maybe your blood is not circulating well enough. Maybe you have too much toxins in your body. So if you do not address that, you might have to take those pills for the rest of your life. And what happened? Because you are not addressing the root of the problem, is going to cause a domino effect in the body, and something else is going to be
Or
imbalanced sooner or later. So
yeah, but
sooner or later,
then yeah, you're talking about a lifestyle change basically. You're talking about
definitely,
changing the way you eat,
definitely,
the exercise, things of that nature.
this is very important. So like when I was younger, and I put on, I think, 50 pounds for my first pregnancy. I was shocked to realize that when I gave birth, the weight stayed there, because the way we were, the way we were taught for prenatal classes, technically you give birth and the weight is gone. And a month later, I was wondering, but what do I do? Because we were told, we are always told, do not take any medication or any supplement when you are still breastfeeding. So I was really wondering, but how do I get rid of this weight? And pretty much this is when I understood that taking a pill or taking a treatment wasn't going to make a difference unless I address the root and the lifestyle. So it is actually when I started to always be concerned about the consequence of what I eat. That is, like, I may like the taste, but does it like my body? Is it working out well for me? So when we understand, okay, that we got to move the body a little more, when we understand that maybe taking a long-term treatment might be affecting our long-term, our longevity, for example, our ability to have energy or to cope with certain situation, maybe we might want to make a little effort and move a little more.
All right, yeah. What about this thing of cleansing? Is that also a factor in having
Well,
that circulation and that balance?
it is very important. It's very important because if we take a break regularly from eating those food that are clogging our arteries or causing our blood to be too thick or too hot, even if we go back to eating badly, if we do it often enough to just cleanse the body, we don't need any herbal supplement and we don't need any medication neither, just because often enough we train the body to just sweep everything out.
So we giving ourselves a fighting chance of having good health if we at least do regular cleanses.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay,
So
because
that, talk to me.
sorry, no, go ahead.
No, but definitely because, like, I could remember when I went to a doctor back then, and I explained to him I'm not losing any weight. I don't understand, and I was explaining to him all what I was taking. But the point is that he told me, well, you need to cleanse your body first. And this was a doctor that many people couldn't understand. But the point is that he had worked for the French army as a doctor. And while he was stationed in China, he also went back to university over there to learn traditional Chinese medicine. So his
Okay.
approach was very different from many doctors. He would use acupuncture. I mean, you would go and tell him, I have a headache. And the next minute, you would have needles all around your head to release the blood flow. And he would tell you, you must stop eating this. And he would give you like a whole list of what you should stop eating. And at first, I used to wonder, what's wrong with this doctor? I just tell him, I have a headache and he's going to tell me I'm going to stop eating. But that's because, he was working with the principle of traditional Chinese medicine. And he was very often attacked because of, the way he used to.
The approach.
Exactly. So ultimately, when he got tired of it, he just took his retirement, and that was it. But that he was a great doctor, definitely. And it is true that most people didn't like to hear you need to lose weight so that you could feel better. And it's not. We are not promoting being thin. I don't like being thin neither. I'm a black lady. I like to look with all my curves. We're talking about being healthy. So if you need to drop a few pounds to be more comfortable in your body, you just drop what you need. That's all. But we don't I personally don't promote being skinny. You just need to
Okay.
be balanced in your body. And so cleanse the body often enough. try your best to eat what goes with you. You know, I would tell my children sometimes, you're eating this, but this doesn't like you.
Well, I guess it's all about having a balanced lifestyle.
Definitely.
All right, yeah. Well, I mean, as usual, the show was very interesting. I'm going to do a few plugins and then we're going to sign out. All
Sure.
right. This show can be viewed on the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, on the Ifa Orisa Tradition Discussion Group, the Ifa Bemero Home of Ifa Orisa Tradition, the Ifa Orisa Traditional Teaching Group, on the Ifa Orisa Institute of Sacred and Divine Science, on the Ifa Orisa Community Congress, as well as on the Ianti's Diasporic Ventures. It is also available on the YouTube channel for the Ifa Bemero Home of Ifa Tradition. All right. For persons who are interested in learning Ifa, we have a community. I'm now going to post up the information into briefly so that you could get all the specific details. All right, yeah, you were saying something just now. I couldn't hear you.
We would like to ask our viewers to also follow us on TikTok so that we could activate the live option so that we could, meet with them and interact with question and answers at least once a week. And from my understanding, you need to have at least 1,000 followers on TikTok to be able to interact live with the viewers. So
Okay,
feel
great.
free to follow us over there as well. I'm Eonsi in all the platform, Ia Auntie, so very easy. And so if you are already a member of this platform, please join us over there so that we could continue to deliver more creative content. And I know that especially when it comes to the French viewers, there are quite a lot of them trying to work on 1,000 followers so that we could interact with them also in French.
All right, very well. So we're going to have an English as well as a French stream on that
Definitely.
platform. All right, so viewers, remember to like, share, and subscribe. You are free to join us every Sunday at 5 p.m. So we would see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and Oda Bo.
Double.